एकं अक्षरं हृदि निरन्तरं भासते स्वयं लिख्यते हृदयकुहरमध्ये केवलं मात्रम् आत्मरूपे हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वता आत्मनिष्ठो वेहं मृण्मयवत् जडात्मकम् अहं बद्धर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावशुद्धिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भाव ओहं भावयुतः कुतो वरतिय दृष्टात्मनिष्ठात्मना सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिवः पूर्णे विभाति सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिवः पूर्णो विभाति Namo Ramana. In this, the Thursday Satsang from Ramanacentre Center for Learning, it has been our practice to select two verses randomly from the work Guruvachaka Kovai, rendered in verse form by Muruganar Swamigal. The selection of the verses is done by Revatima. Each verse is read and the reading is followed by a short meditation on its meaning, and that is followed by the practice of Atma Ucharam for about 15 minutes. After these two segments of verse reading, meditating on its meaning, and practice of self-enquiry are completed, there will be summing up remarks by Venkatesh Deshpande ji, and that will be followed by the offering of Sri Ramanacentre. The chanting will be by Vaibhavji and Pratnama online. The puja team is still away, so the rest of us can inquire as to who is listening, who is the listener to the chanting. we begin by taking up the first verse selected for us, verse number 157. Verse number 157 we will find in the first segment, first of the three segments, investigation into truth. The next two segments are meditation on the truth and experience of the truth. Of course, these are preceded by the prefatory verses. 157 we find under the sub-segment, the ego knot. The ego knot under investigation into truth, verse number 157. Seizing the body as I. Seizing the body as I, the treacherous, illusory, and fundamental ego knot leads an evil life. Seizing the body as I, the treacherous, illusory, and fundamental ego knot leads an evil life. Seeing the many varieties of sense objects which are unreal, like the azure color in the sky, it takes them to be real through its deluded vision and becomes stronger through its desire for them. This is the viveka that is being given. How we come into the samsara, how we get caught and trapped into the samsara. What is the root of all evil? We are clear about the concepts of good and evil, and what is evil at its root. Bhagavan says the ego knot represents evil at its very root. Seizing the body as I, the treacherous, illusory, and fundamental ego knot leads an evil life. Seeing the many varieties of sense objects which are unreal, like the azure color in the sky, takes them to be real through its deluded vision and becomes stronger through its desire for them. So what has to be done? Whenever objects appear, we should know that the sensory objects cannot appear without the mind behind it. The mind or the other thoughts cannot appear without the ego knot as the adhara. So the ego knot remains hidden. And whatever is emanating out of ego is evil, says Bhagavan. And whatever is egoless is the good. So instead of judging the actions or the objects as what is good and what is evil, what is at the root of evilness? It is this ego knot. And how to remove it is to pay attention on that granthi, on that knot. Put attention on it. Whenever that knot wants to desire a thought or desire a sensory object, withdraw that eagerness, that desire, by asking for whom is this desire, for whom is this thought. The answer will always be, it is for the hidden ego knot. So the ego knot, which is at the root of all evil, is given the upadesha by the guru. Why the ego knot? Because we have so strongly identified with that. We are not the ego knot, we are the self. But due to delusion, we have identified with that we are this body, we are this ego knot. Therefore, the guru comes and tells you are not the ego knot. You are the consciousness that is ever free, that is not bound to a form. And that consciousness always is self-aware. It does not know anything other than itself. What is the divinity that is picked up by the guru? The ability of the pure consciousness to know itself alone, and it does not know anything other than itself. That is the sadhana given to the ego knot. The apparent ego knot is asked, inquire who am I? That ability to see oneself, ability to know oneself is only there for the Supreme Being. All the rest, in trying to know oneself, they demolish the ego knot and merge into the Supreme Being. So let us sit in practice of Atma Ucharam for about 15 minutes, where the attention is drawn back from any thought that arises by asking for whom is this thought. The answer will always be, this thought is for the ego knot. is for me. Who am I? Takes us from root evil to root divinity. Let's sit in practice of self-enquiry. Ujulji, you can set the time for us. Thank you.
Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. We continue the satsang by going to the second verse selected for us, verse number 452. 452. This too is in the segment Investigation into Truth, and the subheading is Experiencing Happiness. Investigation into Truth, Experiencing Happiness, 452. If you willingly and joyously offer yourself as a sacrifice through the enquiry, who am I, to the divine feet of God who shines as the Atma Swarupa in the heart, then through His grace, knowledge of reality will dawn in you. It's a powerful sentence, so let us go through that again. If you willingly and joyously offer yourself as a sacrifice through the enquiry, who am I, to the divine feet of God who shines as the Atma Swarupa in the heart, then through His grace, the knowledge of reality will dawn in you. After this, your anxieties will end. You will attain the continuous experience of the self, whose nature is auspicious tranquility, and you will live as the ever-risen son of true jnana, the self that shines uninterruptedly. There is a short note by Muruganar. You should understand that yourself, in yourself as sacrifice, refers to the I am the body ego that says I. There is no explanation required for this. If you willingly and joyously offer yourself in sacrifice, indirectly, Muruganar is saying that Atma Vicharam is a bhakti sadhana of offering oneself as sacrifice to the Lord's divine feet. Lord's divine feet is already present inside us as the Atma Swarupa. The Lord Himself and so His feet are present as the ever-shining Atma Swarupa. Every time you let go of a thought, you are offering it as sacrifice to the Atma Swarupa. What else can you? Because that is the what is. Therefore, to whom else can you offer anything in sacrifice? Whatever you offer, it goes to the self only. To whomever you offer, it is going to the self only, because that is the only reality. To whom else it can go? So you offer the thought, and to offer yourself, you have to do this enquiry. For whom is this thought? Then the Chit Jada Granthi is available for offering. And what is the method of offering that in the ever shining self? It is to ask, who am I? So who am I is practice of Atma Samarpanam. Atma Vichara and Atma Samarpanam are one and the same. Bhagavan is ever present as the Atma Swarupa. Any thought that He gifts you, gift Him back, give it back to Him, and gift yourself also, because you belong to Him. Don't have a separate existence apart from Him. Whenever you are chasing a thought, you are having separate existence apart from God. At least you are imagining like that. So let go of that thought as a sacrifice by asking, for whom is this thought? The answer will come, the thought is for me. Then that quest, who am I, is actually offering oneself as sacrifice to the ever-shining self. What are you offering as sacrifice? It is the I am the body thought. The I that is holding on to the body as the Chit Jada Granthi, that is what you are offering as the sacrifice. And the Mrityunjaya, the Atma Swarupa, will rise and shine when the offering is complete, when all the vasanas are all offered at the feet of the Lord, burning one after another. There is no other way except to land in the feet of the Lord and have Sayujya, have oneness with the Lord, oneness with the Atma Swarupa. That is the second verse selected for us. So let us do this homa. Let us do this sacrifice of offering oneself to the ever shining Jnana. Jnana Agni is ever shining as I. That is always shining within us. And one has to offer the thought that arises by asking for whom is this thought. The answer will be for me. Then offer that I also to that feet of Bhagavan by asking who am I. Let us sit and practice this wonderful Atma Samarpanam for the next 15 minutes or so. Julji, can you kindly keep the time? Thanks.
Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. May I request Venkatesh ji to give us the summing up remarks. Namo Ramana, sir.
Namo Ramana. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jnanamulam Gurur Murtih, Pujamulam Gurur Padam, Mantramulam Guruvakyam, Mokshamulam Guru Kripaha, Mokshamulam Guru Kripaha. Let us look at a life cycle. You know, when you're born, then what happens? You've got nothing to you hold. You're born empty-handed, nothing to hold. You're, at one level you are happy because you got nothing to hold. You're empty-handed, but you cry when you're born. The first thing that the doctor does is taps you so that you cry. Why? And others laugh. Why do they laugh? Because welcome to samsara. Everybody, they think, oh, it's a new child has come, but actually they're welcoming you to the samsara. And then what happens? The whole janma, you're accumulating things. I want this, I want that, this is mine, this is not mine, and this is more valuable, and all these things you go on accumulating. Then what happens? One day comes the death day, and you're still holding on. Everything, right from the body, you're holding on to egos, holding on to everything. But then you have to leave everything. And then when you leave the body, then what happens? You laugh. There's a sense of release from all these attachments. You laugh, but everybody else cries. But then in the meantime, what you have done is you have left a will. You know, the will is just an anxiety bill. It is anxiety for the next generation. When the next fellow is born, you give him all these problems, he's accumulated all these anxieties, you offer it to him. And then that fellow, your child, your husband, your son or your daughter, again starts the same thing, accumulation, and one day dies. Now, Bhagavan says there's a way out of this. You know, he says, if you do self-enquiry, what happens? Then there's no accumulation at all. You get to know the truth of the accumulation. You know what is this accumulation? It is just Brahmam Satyam Jagat Mithya. This whole accumulation it's not true. Then what happens? Then you realize your truth. When you realize your truth, then what happens? Then you say, was I ever born? Or will I ever die? Because the self always is. Before this body was there, the self was. During this whole process of accumulation, which I was doing earlier, the self is. And after I die, also, then the self is. Then what happens? There is no sense of accumulation at all. Nothing to accumulate. And what happens? You are constantly happy. And what will you leave behind for the next generation? You leave behind only joy of the self. So Bhagavan, that's why he's saying, do self-enquiry here and now. Understand your truth. When you understand your truth, then you will be with that Satchidananda Atman. This accumulation will not bother you anymore. Anxieties will not bother you anymore. What you're going to leave for your children won't bother you anymore. Because you know it is jhuta, it is not true. So that is the thing about the Jnani's life and Ajnani's life. Ajnani's life is full of anxiety, full of accumulation. From a Jnani's perspective, actually nothing happens because the self has always been there and will always be there. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana, sir. Thank you so much. I request Vaibhav ji, Pratnama. Namo Ramana.
नमो रमण
Chanting for us.
भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरजितम् श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनामावलिः अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तम् गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि ॐ महासेन महोंसेन जाताय नमः ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः ॐ गुरवे नमः ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः ॐ महौजसे नमः ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः ॐ श्री शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः ॐ तीव्राय नमः ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः ॐ तपोमयाय नमः ॐ उदासीनाय नमः ॐ महायोगिने नमः ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः ॐ कुशाग्रदिये नमः ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः ॐ सवित्रे नमः ॐ स्थिराय नमः ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः ॐ पुल्लम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहासश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः ॐ चूणिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः ॐ विराजितचलाकृतये नमः ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः ॐ पूर्णाय नमः ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः ॐ गम्भीराय नमः ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः ॐ दक्षिणास्य निभाय नमः ॐ धीराय नमः ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः ॐ स्वराजे नमः ॐ महर्षये नमः ॐ भगवते नमः ॐ ईड्याय नमः ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः ॐ विमलाय नमः ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः ॐ ऋक्ताय नमः ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः ॐ समदृशे नमः ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः ॐ सत्याय नमः ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः ॐ श्री शोणाचलरिद्बोधस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्न संशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानामाराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादगसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ ऋचान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्वर्णाद्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणाद्रिशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविद्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थानोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्या जनिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाह विवशस्तादात्म्यभावं गतः हृन्निष्ठस्व गभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनासेकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नम इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय।
Namo Ramana. Nice chanting. Thank you. Namo Ramana Venkatesh ji. Namo Ramana Ujjwal ji. Namo Ramana.
Namo